Hi, everybody, and welcome back to this week's episode of The Real Realtor of Houston, where I'm Kendall Peacock Butler, and I know you see the hat. All right, we had the amazing opportunity to be able to meet with one of the wineries in the Richmond, Texas area. I'm so thankful that Miss Candace was able to take some time out of her busy, demanding schedule. So thank you for being able to sit down with me into your schedule.
Absolutely.
So without further ado, Miss Candace of Water's Edge Winery in Richmond, Texas. Miss Candace.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us about yourself. What made you get into winery business?
So I am a former accountant, graduated from Jackson State in 2004 and moved out here to Houston and then started a family 2008. We moved to the suburbs. And so we've been in Richmond for about 15 years and there was nothing really in this area except for cows and cornfields. And so things have been growing rapidly and we wanted to be a part of that change. We also wanted to create a space primarily for adults to come in and get away. And what better way to do that than with a glass of wine?
And this one that we're sipping on is the peach.
This is the sparkling peach mango. This is one of my favorites. It's really hard for us to keep this one on the shelf.
Is it seasonal?
It's not seasonal, it's just very popular. And so it goes off the shelves pretty fast.
It's good. It's sweet like muscadines almost, and that's what I thought it was. But it is absolutely delicious. And you said that y'all make your own wines?
We definitely do. We make a variety of wines. We have our sangria line, which is our fruit flavor. So anywhere from strawberry to raspberry peach to blueberry, pomegranate, raspberry, dragon fruit. So we have a variety of the sweeter wines. And then we do a Moscato all the way up to your drier Chardonnays, your Sauvignon Blanc. And then from the red side, we do a couple of red blends, your Merlots, some of your most popular like your Pinot Noirs, some things that are not as known for some people, your Petit Verdot. We do a couple of Australian blends.
I never heard of a Petit Verdot before.
We got a little bit of everything going on. So one of the things before I really got into the world of wine, I had no idea that there were so many different varietals. I have this poster that's almost like a periodic table of different grape varietals. So each of the types of wines is a different type of grape. So there are hundreds of different types of grapes. So that's hundreds of different types of wines.
And y'all back there stumping them like on that Lucy episode.
Oh, that would be fun. But we're considered a micro winery. And so we get the grapes already crushed. So they're in the juice form and we do the fermentation process. So it's a little bit of science involved in that. And the fermentation is where we add the yeast and some other things. And the yeast basically eats the sugar in the juice. And that's what creates the alcohol.
Really? Okay, because I'm one of those people, I'm very hands-on. So if somebody wanted to come do like a wine making, like how they have candle making classes, can we have like a wine making and they can make like their own little like wine taste or something?
So we haven't gotten to the winemaking portion yet, but we are offering bottling parties. So once the wine has been fermented and filtered and is ready for drinking, we're in the process of setting up those bottling parties. So you can come in and actually do the bottling, the corking, and the labeling process.
It's a girls' night uploading. Koya, Key, Tab, all y'all, like, and all the rest of y'all, Tony, everybody, get ready. We have a wine bottling night coming up, okay? In Old Richmond. So I don't want to hear nothing about it's too far of a drive from where y'all live at because it's a girls' night. So when are y'all expecting to kind of?
It really depends on our production schedule. And so as wines become available for bottling, that's when we'll put the information out there. So it varies from month to month when a wine may be available for bottling.
Okay. And you don't need I hope I don't sound ignorant saying this, but like a chemist or, because you said putting the yeast in it to make sure that the yeast turns it into something. It sounds like a science experiment to me.
It's kind of a science experiment, but it's more like you need to know what the levels are supposed to be. It's a process. And so once you know the process, you just follow that process every time. The primary thing within winemaking is the sanitation and cleanliness and making sure that all of the vessels are sanitized, because if at any point anything can harm the wine. And so your primary goal is to protect the wine by sanitizing everything. That's the longest part of the winemaking process.
How long does that take to sanitize?
Let's just say if there's a 4-hour session, you may spend the first piece of that sanitizing. So it's like a sanitizing process, and then we're rinsing multiple times to make sure that sanitizing agent is out, and then you're just left with this clean sanitized vessel.
I had no idea so much work went into a bottle of wine. Like, I didn't know that there was so many steps to it.
Absolutely.
Okay, so since you said that you had no idea getting into this world of wine, and you and your husband decided that that's the path y'all wanted to take, what are some of the learning blocks that y'all had to overcome?
It is our journey is a little bit different from other people. We started our journey in 2019 when the world was
about
normal.
to shut down.
No, it was normal. 2019.
Okay.
And so everything was moving, and then here comes this thing called COVID, and you're like, oh. And so we continue to move through the process. Some things slowed down, regulations, the permits that we had to get. So it's like, instead of going in and get something signed, it was mail this here, then they'll mail it back, then you mail it here. And so that process was very interesting. Once we got open, we're 6 months into the pandemic, and people were ready to get out. And so
we ain't care nothing about social team. We want to be away.
We saw the great support from our community at that time. But people were ready to come outside, let their hair down, get a glass of wine. And so it's been an uphill journey from there, just starting from a ideal time to going through COVID and then having to kind of start back over from there.
You said the community really showed up to support. So with you starting and then having to navigate, man, y'all really had to be strategic. And really, I can't imagine how many nights I was up till 3 o'clock in the morning, like, hey, man, look, what we gonna do? What's the move?
So look, the move there is to go to sleep and not be up till 3 o'clock in the morning, and just to say your prayers and give it to God and keep it moving.
Every time. But I like the way that things work out, because with it happening the way that it did, in what way did it actually help? Because
I think with the challenges that we kind of had to overcome, it helped us to build a thicker skin and toughness to deal with just the restaurant industry side, because we have the winery as well as the bistro. So it's kind of 2 different businesses in one. And so just dealing with things within the COVID realm help us to be stronger to deal with just the regular demands of the restaurant business.
Okay. So with you having the wine and the restaurant side, are there any events that y'all have coming up?
So we typically do live music every Friday and Saturday, and it's typically from 7 to 10 p.m. One thing about that, we do charge a cover charge so that nobody's caught off guard about that. Mm-hmm. We have some great musicians from the Houston area, and we want to continue to support them. As with COVID, they lost a lot of business during that time. And so once we got open, we really wanted to stress supporting the local musicians. And so Friday, Saturday, 7 to 10, and then we do a jazz brunch on 2nd and 4th Sundays from 12:30 to 3:30. And then we do brunch every Sunday. It's just the jazz is only on 2nd and 4th.
Okay. I love how y'all have come in here, because you were an accountant and now you're in the winery business. It's like, so how did those ships pass in the night? And then they married each other. But it makes sense because she know how to do that money on the back end.
Yes. And my business partner is my husband. So we've been married for 18 years, and his background is marketing. And so I'm the analytical side of it, and he's the creative side of it. And so we work really well as far as figuring out those things. I know my weaknesses, he knows his strengths, and we go that way.
You've been blessed to get your purpose partner, honey. Ooh, something that we all should be so lucky to find. She found them. They balance each other. Was that equally yoked? Is that what they mean by equally yoked? You got some stuff, I got some stuff. Let's put these things together and make it work. But I like to stress, you have to be creative when you're an entrepreneur, because there is no blueprint of, like you said, y'all went a very unorthodox, very untraditional way to get into it, but it still worked. And y'all still here from 2019, so something had to have been a good idea, you know. I would like to know 2 pointers for somebody wanting to get into this industry.
I would say patience is to have patience for the first thing, because wine is grape-based and grapes are highly dependent upon nature. And so as things happen in the world, it can affect harvest and it could affect juice supplies. And so things may not line up the way that you expect them to. And so you might not have a particular wine that guests are looking for, and being able to deal with those types of disappointments that you might have to have, and being able to guide guests to find the new favorite. And so definitely having that patience and understanding that because wine is a plant-based product, it's not always going to be available. Mm-hmm. And then the second thing is to have faith in whatever it is that you step out to do. If you ask God to guide you, trust that He's going to guide you. And when things look bleak, still know that He's in control.
Got it. I think that we look like ants to God. If he my dad, he know how he got to talk to his kid. And sometimes I'm that I got to touch the stove to know that it's hot person. So I feel like me trying to jump in and fix things, it's like your 2-year-old. You sitting there like, you gonna sit down now? Are you tired? Can you please sit down and get out the way so I can do something, you know? And I feel like that's kind of how God looks at us. Like, you don't have to do anything. And I think one of the biggest messages that I've heard, you literally don't have to do anything. You just have to speak it. It is as simple as speaking. And then, taking that first step. You do got to do
Absolutely.
You had to at least file an application to get an LLC or something.
Right.
To let God know, hey, I do want this. And you take one step, and then the rest of the things, those steps will reveal themselves. A conversation that you have with somebody at the gas station might be a key to unlock the next door. So I really, really appreciate your time. I ain't gonna hold you up, even though I can go on and on because it's wine. Any closing remarks? Anything you'd like the people to know?
Let me just say, our motto for Water's Edge Winery is live life at the edge.
And in color, honey, it says the Peacock. I love it. Thank you so much, Candace.
Yes, ma'am.
If they want to find you guys, where are you guys located?
So we are located at 4828 Waterview Town Center, Suite 700, Richmond, Texas, in the Waterview Shopping Center. And we're at the corner of Harlem and West Belfort. So it's a little spot that's jumping off. Like I said, this area has really grown over the last several years. And so we're just excited to be a part of that growth and to continue to be a strong member of our community.
All right. And if they're looking for you on social media,
so on Facebook, we are at WEW Richmond, and on Instagram, we are at Water's Edge Winery TX.
I love it. I love it. And it's absolutely beautiful in here. Thank you, Candace.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Stay tuned. We are going to have the Real Realtors of Houston Roundtable, where I'm going to have 2 of my friends in the industry to join me, and we're going to just talk about real estate and what's going on with them in the market. So stay tuned. Welcome back, guys. We had a chance to get caught up with Candace of Water's Edge Winery, and now we get to meet my brothers. I get to put them on camera. My mentors, they have been instrumental in me getting situated in the Houston market. And so I get a chance to introduce y'all to Darnell Fuller.
What's good?
Ricky Davis.
What's good?
The other real realtors of Houston, okay?
What an honor it is to be here on your show.
Got it.
I'm glad that y'all were able to cut some time in y'all schedules, because I know y'all doing multiple deals at once, helping, servicing. So we just gonna have a talk about real estate, and seriously, like the realness.
Okay.
The HGTV does not show you.
That's for real. That's true.
Seen it all.
Go ahead, introduce yourselves and your history.
My name is Darnell Fuller. I've been in real estate since 2006. It's always been something I've been interested in. Always have had a team, training, developing. Just the industry as a whole of real estate has just been my passion, because it's involving people.
Yes.
The real estate has just been, been the product.
Yeah, and it's ever evolving. We were just talking about how diverse real estate is. Like, it's not just showing homes or just lending. It's so many things that go into it. So,
Right.
And you had a franchise?
Yep. Had a real estate, had a RE/MAX, one of the bigger box names, household names, RE/MAX, but the game's changed so much. So
Drastically.
But it's one thing for sure, it's people business. We're in the service industry. You gotta love people.
We do.
That's the thing. So yeah.
Got it.
Bay Area in the house.
Yay area.
Y'all better not do that handshake y'all be doing either.
Yeah, so Ricky Davis, realtor. I've been real estate for 8.5 years now. The story that's always been told is that Darnell was my realtor. I met him. He was helping me find a place, and we hit it off outside of him. He found out I didn't know at the time that I was qualified to buy a house. I didn't know how that process went. And he told me I could buy a house. So you tell me you can do something for me, then hey, best friend, brother, what's going on?
And he definitely was like, Ricky is loyal.
Exactly.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Darnell's been instrumental in when I I knew that I was kind of going through transitions in my career, and I wanted to transition into something that I knew was going to be unemployment proof. I was getting laid off. I was part of mergers and things like that. So there was a lot of changes happening in my career before I get into real estate. And then when Darnell ended up helping me close on my house, I seen how easy he made it look, and I thought it was easy. And I was like, man, if he could do it, then I could do it too. And I expressed some interest to him. And the day I passed and got my real estate license, first phone call I made, and I've been right by his side ever since. So yeah,
they have a real bromance, y'all. It's sickness sometimes. The hands.
Pause.
I can't pause. But no, like they are so cool, and I think that was one of the reasons why I was so happy that I was introduced to y'all is because y'all don't mind sharing your information. That was why I wanted to do this episode, because I wanted to show that there is camaraderie in the world of real estate, and you don't have to. It's not always cutthroat, which it has been a lot of times that I've ran into that, which I know you guys can attest to this time and time again. I remember there was a land deal. I didn't know how to do a land deal, and I was going to do a 50-50 split with somebody to just help mentor me to make sure I'm doing it the right way. And they were like, if I can't get the full commission, I don't want to touch it. I'm like, that's money that you wouldn't have even got just to help. You ain't even got to just tell me what to put on the paper. You know, but that was one thing I really appreciated with you guys, was that you've never been selfish with your time. You've never been selfish with your resources. And to me, that is how you stay in business, because it is relationship built. Because like me and you talk all the time. Yeah. Like with me starting a new job, right? You're like, you starting this job for, you're not the business. And it's more of a money move for me, but still staying in real estate. But because people can be in real estate today and then out of real estate tomorrow. Absolutely. Yeah. And so it's still relationship based. So if I was deciding, well, at least I know I got two guys that if I need help or if I have somebody, I can send them, and I know that y'all gonna take care of them. So thank y'all seriously for who you are and who you have been for me and my family getting situated and adjusted out here. I know they got a background, and y'all know me a little bit, but background for me, I've been in real estate since 2019. I got my license in April of 2019, and I started in the Hampton Roads part of Virginia. So that's Norfolk, Chesapeake, Virginia Beach, Suffolk, Hampton. Shout out Hampton University. HU? I don't know if that's what they really say, but I'm gonna just go with it. But I was able to really help my veterans, help my military families a lot. So I really got thrown into the VA home loan process, and just what that world looks like. Having a chance to move out to Texas, to Houston specifically, where I have always wanted to live. I could not wait to get out here. Wow. Man, you said Magic City. It is a city of magic. I done manifested some great memories out here. But yeah, so going into my 5th year of real estate.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it'll be 5 years in April of next year.
What made you get in real estate? I'm kind of curious.
So I have always enjoyed looking at homes. It's just fun looking at houses. Back in 2007, I had went to this college. It was like a little community college thing. They had a real estate course. And I took it and passed it, but I didn't know what you're supposed to do. So I guess technically, I could have had my license since 2007. But I was still in the military, active duty, deploying. I did 7 deployments in the military just over the course of my 14 years.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your support. And now I get to make that money on the other side, But I've always enjoyed looking at homes. And then even when I had moved to Virginia, I had a list. When I tell you I had an Excel spreadsheet of 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, where they were located with the stars in pink, the ones that were my favorite, how much the rent was, if there was a pet deposit, if it cost anything extra for the garage. I had it broken down where are we going to look at? And then it's just, I became an expert of different apartments and then looking at house. So I just like looking.
So you're telling me that you got in real estate because you like looking at houses,
and I like helping people. It started with liking to look at homes, but then of course once you get into this business, you understand that is the least of your worries.
So that's what I want to know. How much of that is true?
Not anymore. No, definitely not anymore.
While we keeping it real.
No, I think
most people get in the game thinking, oh, I like looking at houses, fashion, I like whatever it is. Real estate is a sexy name, right? It sounds good. But then when you get into the daily activity activities of it.
It's the ugliest
What's the
big
reality of that for
pimple
you?
with the hair coming out of it. Nasty looking trostis. No, it's not that, but it is definitely not what you think it is.
The biggest thing that I see in real estate is people really don't understand the definition of what they're doing when they get into the business. What is the activity? This is a people business. If you don't like meeting people and you're not in agreement with putting yourself out there, you can't. It's hard to be successful in this space. The house is the byproduct.
Yeah.
The people is the product.
Yeah.
So people get into the business with the misconception that, oh, I like looking at houses, or whatever it is that they, I'm popular or whatever. You have to bring that world together. That was the first thing I understood about real estate personally, was that it's a numbers game. Meaning you're not meeting people, have a certain number of people you're gonna meet today or whatever you're gonna do. There's no other way to determine if you're successful, if your day was a good day or not.
I think when we had one of our team meetings, you were saying like 10 contacts a day is
That's
what you
We
say.
have 5 by 5.
5 by 5.
5 by 5. So we live by that. It's too simple for most people to even realize how, if you meet 5 new people a day and tell them about your business, at the end of the week, that's 25 people if you're just doing it 5 days. 5 days out of the week. 25 in a month, that's 100 people. That's 1,200 people over the course of a year that you've just met, that you add into your pipeline, that know about your service. If you're consistent, you will win the game a little bit at a time. So that's always been my rule of thumb. I can't go back home until
I done met 5
I
people.
met 5 people and told them about my business. And it has to be
He
new
needs you
people.
too. He's like, nah, I gotta make sense.
Why y'all think I'm, y'all know he about his business. That was one of the biggest things that I've learned, was that it's not even about the actual production itself. The production is gonna come, but it's about you putting yourself in the rooms. It's you getting up. Like I remember me and you had a talk. You was like, man, just get up, just get out the house. Cause it was really like, it's been very dark these last year or two. So it's been hard even getting up some days just to be able to go out. And then it's like the psychology of it all, of like, damn, I'm not getting up, I'm not in production. It's hard when you're trying to get past the mental block. So going back, moving back to you guys, what are some things that y'all can say have helped you with getting yourselves out the bed and out the house every day? You were speaking about Ricky,
Yeah. Well, I mean, for me, my why is so big. My children. I have a daughter that's 14 years old. I want to at least make sure I can provide and give her the necessities that she needs. Nor can I let myself down, because I didn't want to go back to corporate America. So being an entrepreneur is what you become. You got to get out your head.
You do.
You can't get in your head. When you start thinking too much, that's where the problem comes in. You just got to get up and do.
And just do it.
If you stop and think, well, where am I going to go? There's most mornings I get up, I don't know where I'm going. But I put that, I make sure that the navigation is going to somewhere where someone is in the same industry that I'm in, so we can vibe off each other.
Absolutely.
If there's nothing but go to meet Ricky, there's nothing but go meet with a builder, a moving company, somebody's looking to meet me halfway. So Ricky, I shared, when he got into business, I shared that formula with him. His whole idea, I said, bro, forget about what you heard, what you've learned. This has nothing to do with anything other than you have to get out, do the 5 by 5. That's just our motto.
It was so simple. I didn't even.
It can't be that easy.
It's not that easy. And I ventured out and went out on my own and was trying to apply my experience in sales.
I was literally about to say that you did pharmaceutical sales.
Yeah, medical
before.
device sales. And so I was trying to apply that into the business, because I had my own notion that, hey, if I could sell a complicated medical device to a heart surgeon, then I know I can sell a house.
No, I can sell a house.
And I went out with that, and I was running into the wall. Like, what you mean you don't want to buy it? I mean, and I was like, I'm trying to close you. Like, look at all the features and benefits, and you would try to line those up. And the minute that I decided to shut up and really pay attention, when Darnell was trying to preach to me for 2 or 3 years before the light switch came on, once that made sense, then like blasted off like a rocket ship. And I was like, man, I should have been doing this 3 years ago, and then I wouldn't be 3 years behind. So I'm always feel like I'm playing catch up. So I'm always making sure that I'm running and I'm maximizing every day and not leaving no stone unturned, no crumb on the table.
No crumb or money on the table. But I'm glad that you said you make sure every day you're grinding, but also with that, having that that balance? What are you doing to make sure that you're taking that time for just you? Because you have a family
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
On top of you running a very successful business, what are you doing to balance it?
We don't believe in balance.
Yeah, there is no balance.
You have to.
We don't believe in balance.
Hey.
We've been sold that idea. That's not how life works. That's not real. I mean, my daughter only wants to spend about 20 minutes with me anyway.
That's true.
She don't want no more time than that. She just wants a little bit of time.
Yeah.
She wants to get back to work. My wife, that's a little different story. Sometimes she feeling me, sometimes she ain't. You know?
Hey, ebbs and flows.
So balance is what? You know what I mean? Balance is what? And I don't mean to. I'm just sharing my point of view is that this whole balance concept, something's gonna always be off. Some months I'm more in my family because something's going on over there. And then some weeks I'm a little bit more in my business. It just depends. You have to prioritize.
Yeah.
Your life. If you're not prioritizing what's important, you're not gonna make it. And especially on your duty and your purpose.
Yeah.
The money is just a byproduct. Every day me and this guy together, we're talking about expansion. You ain't talking about expansion. This dude called me. It's all about how can we grow.
Go for it.
Ricky is like, how can we get bigger? How can we expand? How many new relationships? You want to be around people like that. This business is a rejection. It rejects you already. So you deal with a lot of losses in the business, right? Where you had a deal that's getting ready to close, don't close. Closing happens. When am I getting my money? I don't know.
No, seriously. That literally, I had.
Has it came yet? Has it came?
Dealing with that, right?
Yes,
so
seriously.
you're dealing with rejection. So you need a good environment where there's rich soil, people you can go talk to and actually help.
Yeah.
If you don't have rich soil around you, they gonna help you figure out why you should get out the business or why you should be thinking about some other thing. You got to have the right people around you in this space in order to grow.
I think that might have been like as far as balance with the mental, because like for me, I don't know what that balance is yet, because if you don't work, you don't eat. Yeah. And so it's like, well, how do y'all keep your mind straight when it is your family? How do you find that time to just kind of decompress, bring it back, and then be ready to face another day, when you still got your own stuff going on behind the scenes, and then still showing up to be, hey, you want to buy a house today? How can I help you make your homeownership dreams a reality? Meanwhile, this dumpster fire for this other transaction is supposed to get a $9,000 check. It just got pushed back like, oh my God, what is due today? Like, I was supposed to get that money. But that is the thing that I think people they really don't understand coming into it. All right, so one thing apiece of the biggest lesson you have learned in this business.
I'll answer. For me, what's real to me is you can't operate in this space in a mindset of scarcity. You got to operate in abundance. Yeah. If you're operating with like, oh, I got 2 closings coming up next month, I'm good. If you need 2 to close to meet your bills, you need to make your you need 4.
Yeah.
4 deals, right?
Yep.
So you have to operate in abundance because something is going to happen. Yeah. If you're not from that cloth, then you may want to reconsider your being an entrepreneur, because that's what it takes to survive. You can't just getting by is not good enough.
You can't get tired. Kevin Gates out here. I don't get tired. All right. That's all I got. What you got, Rick? What's something that you've learned to help you in your business?
Consistency. And like you said, sometimes you'll wake up and like, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't have any appointments. But I know if you keep those fundamental core values in place and you go out there and you continue it pays off.
It pays off.
I tell people all the time, you can go and do an open house and nobody can show up to the open house.
Yeah. Oh, you speaking to me right now. I hate it.
But you deposited into the real estate universe.
You did.
So I've been in a position where I left the open house. I'm like, man, no one came today. But the phone might ring.
That part. And that's
somebody has an opportunity for you then. Or I'm driving home like, oh, let me stop over here at this builder and walk in just to see. I'm already out. I'm dressed, you know what I'm saying, in my attire.
Let me tell you, they always fly, okay? I ain't never seen these dudes in nothing less than, okay?
I appreciate it. But I always make sure I'm in my zone and always in the position to to meet somebody. You don't know where your next opportunity is gonna show up at. Then,
Yeah.
like I wear my shirts. It's called Rick the Realtor shirts, and it's Rick on the front, the Realtor on the back. And people see me coming like, really, you got your name on your on the front of your shirt?
But you know who I am.
But you see the back, and it says Realtor, and they be like, oh, that's genius, then, because you're marketing yourself.
You're marketing yourself.
So I've been at Target, and people see the shirt, and they see the back, like, oh, you're a Realtor, and that could strike up dialogue in itself. Then you don't know where you're gonna meet your opportunity at, and so just
I'm gonna get a Peacock purse.
Yes, you should. Yes, you should.
Okay. No.
Got it.
For Christmas. Anything Peacock.
Anything Peacock and elephant.
Thank you.
Yeah. Just put the bottle down.
Yeah, you know. Right there.
Thank you.
Come to Water's Edge Winery. This is their house blends too, and this is so good right now. This was called Teacher's Pet.
Teacher's Pet?
Yeah, something I was never.
We know, especially when we was doing the mic test. The real realtor.
Yes. First of all, we want to, give you your flowers.
Yeah, we got to celebrate.
It's good to know then that even when you think it's quiet, and I know you like, oh man, what's going on with my business? I still see just closed or a collaboration with another realtor or just listed and things like that. To still see that the activity is the reassurance that the path that we're on is a good path then. And keep doing, keep pushing. We're here to support you. You know we love you. You know we're going to take care of you. And the famous words of Lucky is, everybody eats, B. Paid in full.
Oh, okay.
To kind of piggyback off of that, from the moment I met you, you've always been about collaboration. You've always tried to bring people into your space and offer value to whatever you do. I commend you for that. You don't have to do that. You could be selfish. You find a way to give back. What you're building is another landmark for you that I identify with. You're transparent. You're willing to share. You want to be above board. And I admire your tenacity, your perseverance, just who you are as a person. So.
And thank you for letting us on your show.
They just call it a show, okay? Because we can be on syndicate. We have multiple syndication opportunities in the pipeline. Talk about pipeline. We're going to be on somebody's TV show. So y'all already got the real realtors right here. So we can start, Peacock, where y'all at, the network, okay? But no, I definitely am so thankful for you guys. So closing out with some last little remarks y'all might want to share with people.
Go outside. That's where the money's at.
Okay.
I think I'll kind of join that. The biggest thing that I've learned about life is believing in yourself, like really what it means to believe in you. Mm-hmm. To believe that you're right. God is actually working it out for your good. You can't really make a mistake. You just got to really move forward. I would say if you're watching this, obviously you're inspired at this point to have lasted this long and to hear us out. There's something about this, the energy that's here that you're trying to connect with. And I would just say, hey man, just take that step. Take that step, believe in yourself. No one's going to do that for you. That's something you have to do for yourself. That's the key, I think.
He took the words out of my mouth. Seriously. And how can they find you guys?
Look at the tags below this video you're looking at right now then, and you can see.
And you'll see their information.
See our information.
You got Ricky the Realtor.
Yes.
Just call me Darnell
Fuller. And of course, I'm Peacock. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
We will see you next time. Here's to the good life. Y'all take care.
Yeah.
Man.